This is part 2 of our base camp build series. Part 1, we found the perfect battery size and weight, and then we made a few different mods that were either free or pretty dang cheap, so we could optimize the performance of the truck and the weight. Now today in part 2, we actually have some brass weights that we can put on this thing, and we're gonna further optimize the weight a little bit more. And we picked up a digital angle gauge so we can precisely see the improvements that we're making. Now before we get to that, there was a couple of comments in the first video that I wanted to point out. Somebody mentioned we should add some wheel weights, which is a really good cheap way to weigh down each of the corners and to lower the center of gravity. You can take these little sticky weights and put them on the inside of the wheel. Now normally this will work, but because we have portals, the portal housing cover would actually rub on those weights if we were to add them, so they wouldn't work in this setup. Another comment, somebody says you can lower the ride height further by changing the lower shock position, if I'm understanding this, and moving the shocks out at the link mount. And that will make the shocks angled out a little bit and effectively drop the ride height, which is a really great idea. And we can do it in the rear, no problem, but in the front, the shocks get pushed out so far that they'll rub against the tire at extreme turning angles. Now, before we make any changes to the truck, let's go put it on the angle gauge and see where we're at. I'm gonna give it a little help. So our rear bumper was dragging on the table, but it does make 52. Whoa. How about 52 and a half? Nope. So we're just gonna turn this sideways for our side hilling. That looks pretty ambitious. We're at 52 and a half and there's no way. 49 and a half. Nope. 43. Nope. There's 40 degrees. That is too much. So at 39 and a half, we're stable, but anything more, it tips. So what we're gonna do to this thing first, which is free for us to do, so we're gonna take this battery off of this side mount and we are gonna put it right here. Now we're gonna put it down here because it's just gonna get a little bit more forward and it's gonna get it down low as much as possible. I know a lot of people are mounting it up here, which is a really good option to get it even further forward, but that's gonna sit quite a bit higher than having it down there. So just for the sake of getting our weight as low as possible, we're gonna go right in front of the transmission. You could also probably fit it right there in the front of the bumper. That would get a lot of weight forward. But I'm not so worried about the weight forward as I am with the low center of gravity. So here's how we're gonna mount it there. So I picked up this Lexan sheet and we're gonna make a little plate that fits between the rails. There's a screw hole there, and we're gonna fashion something where we can continue to use the Velcro strap. Now this Lexan sheet cost about $5.50. It's 0.020 inches thick. Now you can buy this twice as thick for 1 millimeter and it's over $10. So I figured, let's just buy the thinner one for half the price, and the plate that we make, we'll just double it. We'll stack 2 of them on there, and that should be plenty strong. Now this plate is just regular Lexan, like the bodies are made out of. It has an overspray film on it, but we're just gonna cut a little piece out. And I'm just gonna keep trimming this until I get my desired shape. This Lexan sheet is really easy to work with. You can pop holes in it easily with a body reamer. It's super strong, although in this thickness, it's pretty flimsy, but doubling it up will make it a lot stronger. So now that we have one piece made, we can just trace it out on the second piece. We added a couple of washers and we're gonna put it on there and test it out. These are 3x8mm button heads we're using. So once that's screwed on there, that is actually really tight. That's not going anywhere. The only thing that we have to be careful of is the drive shaft underneath it. When the suspension compresses up, it doesn't rub And it looks like we have clearance. That drive shaft is not going to hit it. So our Velcro strap is a little too long wrapping it around here. We could use some double-sided sticky Velcro on the plate and then one on the battery. That might work. I also found this other generic strap, and let's try this. All right, so the battery's pretty secure like that. We've got it shifted forward. We should have more of a front weight bias, and we should climb better. So previously our front weight bias was 51%. Now we've got 52. All right, we're at 52.5 degrees. We previously made it at 52. $53.5. Our bumper's dragging. 53. And we just barely made it up. So that's a 1 degree improvement. I don't suspect side hilling will be improved, so we're not going to test that. All right, next we're adding brass, and these are the Samix portal covers. We're going to put these on the front and rear. They're 55 grams each for about $40, and you get 2 of them. So we bought 2 packets. Now when you do the math, these are about 36 cents per gram, which is the best weight to cost of all the portal covers, except these Reefs portal covers, and these are 178 grams total for the same price, which is about 22 cents per gram. Now we could have gotten those, but we just wanted black. We didn't want that all raw brass color. Just for the fun of it, let's weigh them. That's the right side, 55.4. 55.4, all right. Upgrading the portal covers to brass are some of the easiest items to install. We just need to transfer that bearing in this gear to the new portal cover. This bearing's a little bit more tricky to get out, but we can pinch it from the inside probably. So the rear end is the same procedure, except this rear axle shaft can slide out. So to get it back in, it's keyed on one end, and then you just rotate it until it keys into its spot and push it in. And it is done. Portal cover weights on each corner, and I really like how they're anodized black. They have a bit of a stealthy look to them compared to just an all brass color. So let's get the tires back on here, throw it on the scale, and see how our angles improved. So our old weight was 2636, and we should be about 210 or 20 heavier. 2843. All right, our front and rear weight bias hasn't changed at all, as it shouldn't. Our previous max ascent angle was 53, just barely. Let's try it again. 54. So it took a few tries, but we did 54. And then with side hilling, we achieved 39.5 previously. That is way too steep. Okay, here's 40. Here's 41. Well, it's not a massive improvement, but it is an improvement. 1 extra degree side hilling. Now the last thing we're going to do are add these SSD portal gears that will give us a 25% overdrive for $30, and these should help us climb. Trio also makes these overdrive gears, and they've got more overdrive options, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive. Axial also has an overdrive ring and pinion for $25, but it only adds 12%, and then that's going to be a little bit more labor intensive to install, where these, we're just going to open up the portal covers in the front, pop them in, and then reclose them. Now I wanted to do them separately from the weights so we can see if it makes any difference, though ideally you would just install these when you put in those brass portal covers. So it's a little tight trying to get that pin in there. I'm gonna have to get some big pliers or something, because it does not want to just seat in place. All right, so we have the overdrive in the left side only. Let's test. Its speed should be faster than the right side, and these pieces of tape are at the same position, but that should change. So that's definitely going faster on the left. So we previously were able to climb about 54 degrees. Took several tries. Let's give it another shot. This is about 54. That dang old rear bumper. So in this test, those overdrive gears did not really make a big difference. I think they're mainly going to be helping out trying to get up and over rock ledges, things like that. On this generic test, no improvement. So in part one, we spent $53 on the battery adapter, and the liquid gravity. And then now we've spent $115, $6 for the Lexan sheet, $80 for the 2 pairs of brass portal covers, and then $30 on the overdrive gears. That's not too bad. It's really easy to go overboard buying a lot of different brass parts and upgrades. There's a good chance we'll end up doing more of, but we're taking it slow. So we've increased our angles, we're climbing steeper, and we're holding a steeper lean angle too. So we're definitely headed in the right direction, and our truck is working pretty dang good. Even just the free upgrades like moving the battery forward made a difference in our climb angles. So the truck's coming along, more to come. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Check out our links below for the stuff we used in this video, and we'll catch you on part 3.